Hi, welcome to the course page of my website. My name is Shauna Ristic, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what to expect when you take a workshop with me. So, these workshops were created when so many people that I work with are really wanting to enhance their own vibration, their own intuitive awareness, and also some people want to even move more deeply into it, do something like what I do. How do I do what I do when I can read others and what's going on with them from a distance and in person? And so I sat with that and kind of considered, how do I teach this? And what came clear to me was that in order to really know what is someone else, you have to really know what's you first. So that created the first class of the workshop series. It's called Your Unique Vibration, and it's for each class is for every other weekend. So 4 classes every other weekend. And we really dive into getting a feel for your vibration. I mean, Nikola Tesla said, if you really want to understand the mysteries of the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. And so I'm going to invite you to just really consider the world as vibration. We we all talk about it culturally, like um, my vibe, or I don't like his vibe, or the vibe of a room. So we're all aware of it, but so many of us have sort of gone into the mind because it's our favorite place to process things, that we analyze everything, and we may get something, a vibe from something, but then we analyze it and go in and either shut it down and think, what's wrong with me for feeling that way about that person, or what's wrong with them for projecting that, or oftentimes we even really become sort of internalized and externalized. We go out here, what's going on out there, what's going on out there, and all of our sense of self comes out here. We completely lose touch with who we are and what we are. And especially after my NDE, I found that this concept of everything being vibration and me just sort of blending in from me into another person, and really it wasn't very clear where I stop and where someone else stops. And I think I'm not the only one to feel this way. I know that if you're an empath, or a sensitive, you feel this way too. I've worked with plenty of you, so I know that this is not just an NDE thing. And everybody always told me, oh, you need better boundaries. Maybe they told you that. So I thought, well, what does that mean? Like, what's a boundary? And so then I'm sitting around like, okay, I'm going to put up a wall, or I'm going to put up a bubble around myself, or all these concepts that people gave me as a way to put up a boundary and create a separation from me and the other. And all I found was that I was either focusing on the other, that which I was boundarying against, which kept me externalized and totally detached from me, or I was focused on this boundary I was trying to create, and that kept me out of touch with me too, because all of that takes your attention away from what's really happening here, from what's really happening for you, so that you can then use your information to navigate the world. So what I realize is that boundaries, I mean, while boundaries and bubbles and walls and all that is sometimes very, very useful, in general, it wasn't as useful as recognizing that if you drop into the self, if you become extremely aware of what your vibration feels like, and how it's responding and reacting to the universe and to the world around it, then you can decide how you want to be with that information. It's just information. I like to say that the body is the antenna, the mind is the interpretation tool, and it basically does jobs, runs programs, and runs habits. You give it a job, it does it ad infinitum until you change that job. So considering that this is your system to use, and you are the self, then you come from this perspective of the world being vibrational, and you drop into the sense of self in the middle, because even chemistry tells us all we are little elements, broken down into atoms, which are basically little tiny bits of matter with a bunch of space and electrons around it. So electrons being energy and vibration, you know, we're mostly that. And in the very center of us, in the very most concentrated area of that vibration, is going to be right here in the core of the self. So when you drop your attention into the core, and I don't mean just like meditate on the core, that's great, don't get me wrong. But I mean, you have to move out of this active mind. We're all in our forehead mind. It's sort of this figuring it out analysis. What is she talking about? Drop into the core. Let me think about my belly. You know, that's one way to go about it. But we've all been trained by our culture and the society in education and everything to really analyze everything and pass everything through the mind. And it doesn't have to be that way. I like to refer to us that the real answers often come to us like when you're in the shower and you're kind of falling back and relaxing, and then suddenly you get the answer to your question. The real answers come when we're in receptive mind. And that happens sort of back here, sort of behind the head, like the back of the ears is how I sense it. And so when you can kind of let yourself fall back, come come to the back of the head, sort of out of this mind here, you'll notice that when you bring your attention even back here, there's a softening of the breath. There's a slowing down. There's a dropping in. So letting yourself fall into this receptive mind and then dropping from there into the center of the self, into what I call the core channel. And so then with the receptive mind, we sort of get really curious about what's going on in there. And then we work with the core channel and experience what we're experiencing from the world on how it's influencing our system. How, is it making you contract? Is it making you expand? Those are your basic analysis tools, expansion or contraction. So if someone walks in the room and you feel them and you notice something and you goes, ugh, then that's information. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you for feeling that way. It means that's information and that your system is telling you that there's something contractive about this that's not resonating with you, because if it was expanding you and opening you and bringing you open, that's a whole different story. And that's something that's drawing you to it and is a good thing. It's a yes. So if it's a contractive thing, then just use it as information. Maybe that person's just having a bad day and you don't want to be around them. Maybe you just need to take a break. Maybe it's someone that you really shouldn't be spending time with, or you should really avoid. And the more you work with this, the more you learn to use this as your tool in the world. And so in the first workshop, we start with your unique vibration. We really settle into feeling what's you and noticing what your vibration feels like. And that's mostly done through like meditation and guided meditations, and then a lot of information. And I have to tell you, every workshop, something new comes in. They give me all sorts of new information. So if you've taken this class before, you'll want to take it again, because there's always something new that comes in. The class is growing all the time in that way. So then the second workshop is your vibration and others. And that one, we really dive into the components of noticing how your vibration is reacting or responding to the world around, to other people. And the goal is not to have it react, but to actually have it respond, so that when you feel someone else's vibration, then you don't react to it. Oh, what is that? You can let yourself, oh, wow, look, I noticed that because I'm here. I'm in this space. And then I notice, oh, look, that kind of just squeezed in on me. Or, oh, look, that expanded me. And that's information. You use that to navigate the world. And that's what we work on in the second workshop, to really get this feel down on how we function with other people. And also how our vibration affects other people and how to manage that. Then third workshop is your vibration and the non-physical. And in that one, we work with our guides, with your tribe, your spiritual tribe, which we'll go into more detail on what that means, with archangels, with ascended masters, all of those sort of vibrations, as well as deceased loved ones, whatever's really working for you, just whatever this non-vibrational draw is for you to want to work with. We're going to work with settling into that and working with the layers of that. Now, so many meditations want to take us out of the body, which is important to recognize that we're not the mind and the body, that we're so much more than that. But I like to say, we also need to include it, because this is your system. This is your information system, and it helps you navigate this earth plane. Because if you didn't have a body and you didn't have a mind, it'd be really hard to be here. So I wanted to let you have a little bit of feel for what we do in class and what this meditation feels like and what's this process. And also maybe if you're an advanced practitioner or you're not ready to dive into the class, maybe this will give you a little bit of an idea, a little bit of a start on really feeling your vibration in the world. And I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll join me in these workshops because they're super fun and a lot of interpersonal stuff. When I have you in Zoom, I can work one-on-one with you too, so that the whole group experiences, the shift that we're all having together. But then we also work individually I work individually with you so that um, you get the individual attention as well. I hope to see you in the class. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this video all the way through and for enjoying your unique vibration and really taking a moment to feel yourself. The world needs it. Thanks.